Hello Stampers, welcome to Make a Card Monday. Today we are going to be making this masculine card. It's a really good thing for masculine birthdays, or you can use any of the other sayings in this really fun, truly tailored stamp set to make a card that's great for Father's Day or anything like that. There's several masculine holidays coming up. So are you ready? Let's get started. So we are going to be using the stamp set called Truly Tailored. It is currently in the Occasions catalog, and it's a fabulous stamp set. However, it is going to be retiring, so if you are interested in it, you need to be ordering it before May 25th, because it is guaranteed available until that time. So we're going to start off making our card. We're going to first need a piece of thick vanilla cardstock, and this measures 8.5 by 5.5. Okay, now all we're going to do is we're going to simply fold this in half to make our card base. Okay, now I have of course lost my bone folder. Oh, there it is. I'm going to use that so that we get some nice crisp folds. Okay, we're going to set that aside. And we're also going to need a piece of early espresso cardstock, and this is 5 1/4 by 4. Okay, we're going to need a piece of designer series paper, and this is from the designer series paper pack called True Gentleman. It is also in the Occasions catalog, and I just love this designer series paper. It just has great designs on it for making masculine cards, and masculine paper is kind of hard to find. So it's a really good pack of paper. So the piece of this we're going to need is 5 1/4 by 2. And all we're going to do with this is we're going to take our snail adhesive and we are going to adhere it to our piece of early espresso cardstock. And I'm just going to put it on just like that. Okay, and I'm going to set that aside. Now we're also going to need a piece of crumb cake cardstock that measures 1 3/4 by 3. And then we're going to need another piece of vanilla cardstock that measures 1 1/2 by 2 3/4. Okay, so we're going to stamp our greeting or our sentiment on here. Okay, so we're going to be using the stamp from the Truly Tailored stamp set that says, "Today is your day, celebrate in style." Okay, I'm going to stamp it in soft suede. So I'm just going to ink it up, and I'm going to move it a little bit toward the top, center it side by side. I'm going to stamp it right on there. Now I'm going to be using Sahara Sand. And on this one, I'm going to be using the little bow tie stamp that is also in the stamp set. I'm just going to ink it up, and I'm just going to put it down here underneath the words. Okay, just like that. And then this piece is going to get the snail on the back, and I'm going to adhere it to the piece of crumb cake. Okay, now I'm going to set that aside. Now I'm going to be using some burlap ribbon on my card. And the burlap ribbon, I don't know where my spool is, but I've just cut a couple of pieces, and you'll have to determine the length that you want for these. But I am going to use just a couple of strands of the burlap ribbon to go across right here. See, it kind of goes from one side of the card to the other. So all I have done is I have measured the length of my card, okay, that I wanted, okay, and just cut it about a 1/2 inch over on each side. And now, since I just want a couple of strands, I am going to be using my paper snips. And let's see if I can get it close enough here for you to see. So if you cut on it, you can just kind of take it apart, okay, by strands. Now, the first time you do it, you're going to have to cut all the way down because you're going to need to cut off the binding part that's on the end. But from then on, all the other times, your strips are just going to peel right off like that. So super, super simple to do. Now, I always use, when I'm adhering any kind of ribbon or the strands or anything else, I use my tear and tape. So I'm just going to turn my card over, find the end of my tear and tape, piece on that side, piece on this side. I find that snail itself does not hold my ribbon or my twine, so I love the tear and tape for things like that. Okay, now I'm just going to get my strands, make sure the ends are the same on there. Just going to wrap them around that side, just like that, stick them onto my tear and tape. I'm going to pull the other ends down like that, okay? Try to get them as straight across as I can, and again, wrap the back around just like that. So there we have it attached to the front, okay? Now, since I have my twine on here, I'm going to go ahead and put my snail on the rest of this. Pull back my vanilla piece, that's my card base, and I'm going to adhere this on top of it, get it all centered. Okay. Now I am going to use one of the True Gentleman buttons. Okay, these are fun buttons, again, nice masculine buttons. Looks like there's probably 3 different designs. So I'm just going to take, nope, you know what, I'm going to take a smaller one, I think. Okay, and I am going to use a glue dot to adhere this. Now, for glue dots, you know, they always stick. When you pull the top off, the glue dots always stick to this part. So all you need to do is pull it up enough so that you can see a glue dot. Take your button, stick it on there, pull it off, and the glue dot is stuck to the button. So I'm going to just stick it down right like that. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another strand of, oops, my burlap ribbon. Sorry about that, had a brain fart. And I'm going to again take 2, I've already cut the end off of it. Again, going to take 2 strands of this. Only this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a bow. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 strands, tie a bow. Now I do use this bow maker that I had made for me. I won't go into detail with how to use it to tie a bow. I got my directions off of YouTube and they're pretty easy to follow. And I love it because it always makes the perfect bow. Okay, and then I'm going to again use another glue dot. Stick it on there, push down, lift up, the glue dot comes with it, and then you can just adhere that right into the middle of your button, just like that. Trim my ends because they are really long. Bring my sentiment back. I'm going to put it on here, but I want it to pop just a little bit, so I'm going to use some dimensionals. Just going to put a dimensional in each of the 4 corners. And that right there. Pop off the backing to it. And then it is ready to adhere to our card. So there we go. So there is a nice masculine birthday card. And I will be drawing a name from anyone who hops over and leaves a comment on my blog today under this post. I will be drawing a name for someone to win one of these 2 cards. So thanks for stopping by.